it works out very well because the dads really want to be helpful and talk to their kids, but it's hard to communicate. And so they end up yelling up to their sons, and then the sons hear their father's voices excited, which they don't hear very often. So then that gets them fired up, and then they kind of yell back, and so now the dads can talk to their 12-year-olds very calmly, and the kids are driving better, which they super love. And I was talking to David Lee from RC Racing Communications, and it's selling a lot of these specialty headsets, and he said that the one group that hasn't really caught on with yet are like the upper echelon factory racers.
That was my question, is when will those guys start using it?
When they can get their pit man to shut the heck up.
That's true. That's a good point.
A lot of them don't like
to be talked to.
Yeah.
Or talking about it. Then there's a couple guys that they can have a full-on conversation with you. They're very few, but they can have a full-on conversation with you and still lap you 7 times.
Jalen Fairchild wants to sleep at your house next weekend.
We've got a local race next weekend, and yes, he will be camping. He'll be
avocado. And as I say that, yeah, we're minute 15 into this one. Mark Sousa, one of the Canadians racing here this weekend, out front already with a 34.0 on lap number 1, and second lap at 32.9. Quite a bit faster.
Oh, a tough wreck right there. No turn marshal on that bucket. Very back. We were talking about that TQ time at Chandler Elliott, 9 to 5:10, all the way up to race number 8. Nobody's beat that time. I feel like this could be the race. We've got some heavy hitters in this one. We've got Kosciuszek, Alex K.
Kosciuszek.
Okay, Alex K is good. Team Associated J Concepts driver Alex K. He's been laying it down in the in 10 skill here lately, and now he's out here for the 8 skill Nats. He's got the skill. Obviously, 8 skill is a little different than the 10 skill he's been doing and doing so well at, but I expect him to put down a pretty good time here in this one as well. David Fast out there as well. Mark Sousa out there. Brandon Rose out there. Rick Endler, Rodney Morney. Edwin Hartman of DOD, Dutch Oven Designs out there. Chris Allison. We were talking about Thornhill earlier. Steve Culbert. Pablo Tejada of PTRC. Seth Rippee, Ralph Reynolds. All on the track here in this one. Ryan, no, it's going to be Mark Sousa out front. 9 out of 5, 17, so they are still 7 seconds off that TQ time. Alex K works his way up to the number 2 spot. He had a rough start here in this one, and it looks like we're following Alex K right now as he works his way around in that red and yellow Associated buggy. Coming into the whoop section, a tricky section, and it looks like he's got that Associated car working good. Working his way back around right now, Alex K. Fast lap on the track, a 32.9 for Mark. Out front here in this one, dips down the 32-second lap range. So we're getting up there in the faster lap times. Mark now in a 9 out of 5, 14, 4 seconds off.
And interestingly enough, Sousa leading this one still over 4 seconds slower than what Chandler Elliott did. So with a minute 30 left to go, I don't think anyone's going to bump Elliott out of the top spot.
It's going to take some very fast laps and some consistent laps. I think that's going to be the major thing. Mark had looks like, a 40.2 on lap 3. Had he not had that one, he would have been right there with it.
Yeah. Kosciuszek's last lap, 32.926, a personal best for him. And Alex obviously had a little bit of rough luck going in the seeding practice round, and not the best run here going in round number 1. Kind of expected some bigger things out of Alex. We'll have to see if he's able to regroup, particularly in the truck class, but also here in Buggy, because he's one of those drivers that certainly wants to make the top 32, get himself a spot for the world.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about this race this weekend is obviously the Roar Nationals is always an important race and arguably the most prestigious race in America. However, on a World qualifying year, it seems like the intensity is turned up just a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
And, unfortunately, not everybody that qualifies is able to go to the World. Right. I mean, that's a big expense. But just the fact that they know they earned a spot, everybody wants that. So, a lot of these guys, I'm sure, know in the back of their mind, hey, even if I qualify in the top 30 or 32, I may not be able to make it to Australia, but I still want to be recognized for making that spot.
Unfortunately, yeah, the first time I qualified for the Worlds was in 05, and the 06 Worlds were in Indonesia. And there was a lot of talk about there being potentially some violence going on in the area. So there were only like a handful of U.S. drivers that decided to go at the last minute, and I was not one of them. And then it turned out, of course, it was fine. Everyone had a lot of fun. Mark Pavitas ended up winning. So that was super cool. Would have been really neat to go, but it just didn't work out. And then 2 years later, actually a race that you and I were both at. Did you go to the 07 Nationals?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, qualified for Worlds there in St. Louis, and then ended up letting a ton of people into the 08 Worlds too in Charlotte. But the 08 Worlds I could forget about because I lost 2 engines and a transmitter at that race.
I didn't lose a transmitter. I did lose an engine, 2 servos,